have a beautiful country. A beautiful country that we cannot afford to villagize. A beautiful country where our president has placed on a global stage. And it is that globalization that we should be focusing on, not villagizing a beautiful country like Kenya. And I want to plead with all of you as members of parliament, please, as you are told by the president on Madaraka Day, you are bestowed with a very dignified position as members of the National Assembly of Kenya. Members including the Honorable Farah and the Honorable Member for Kieni, the Honorable Shieni, who represents the people of Kieni, and the Honorable Farah, who is our Deputy Speaker. And he's always, when he's on the seat, is shouting order. Affirming order in the House. But surprisingly, when he's not on the seat, he's behaving in a manner likely to be described as disorderly. I was attracting the attention, Honorable Speaker, so that they may listen, because the Honorable Farah's constituents have a problem with power on the grid, and that he knows. And part of the problems have emanated from people vandalizing transformers, vandalizing lines on the grid, because they are looking for aluminium, others are looking for copper or copper and aluminum alloys. And therefore, we want to have a special license so that if you deal with copper and aluminium to stem the rising cases of vandalism of transformers and other state or public infrastructure, Honorable Speaker, you will see even aluminium guardrails on our roads that are there to secure us on the roads in case of accidents, Honorable Speaker. People vandalize these things and go and smelt for a song things that are public infrastructure, Honorable Speaker. And you remember when the former President Uhuru Kenyatta was commissioning the SGR Phase 2, you remember him swearing in God's name that he will cite the execution of anybody who vandalizes that line. But you will be surprised, Honorable Speaker, parts of that line are still being vandalized, especially the rails, the guardrails along the corridor are being vandalized. Therefore, there must also be penalties. And now the amendments that we are doing here are enhancing penalties, so that if you are caught having vandalized any public infrastructure, Honorable Speaker, in the name of acquiring scrap metal, whether it is aluminium, whether it is copper, then you will pay very hefty fines and penalties that will deter vandalism and, of course, ensure that those who are trading in scrap metal are trading in scrap metal that is legally acquired, not vandalized from public infrastructure, like in our power sector, our road sector, and other public utilities, Honorable Speaker. What he has to go through as compared to me, who will move a mere 15 kilometers to Kikuyu and back. The farthest corner of my constituency, I think, is about 40 kilometers from here. The farthest corner where I border with Kajiado County and one tip of Narok County. But, Honorable Speaker, you know, even as we engage in other debates, including the one man, one woman, one vote, we must be cognizant of the kind of country that we all live in and appreciate each other as Kenyans. It is God who placed us in our various destinations where we call home. And nothing makes the Honorable Farah or the Honorable Lesuda not come to live in Kikuyu. Today I represent a constituency just outside Nairobi. And because of the proximity to Nairobi, we are hosting Kenyans from all walks of life, from Garissa, from Mandera, some from Tiaty, some from Western Kenya, some from the far north, as far as Marsabit County. And they are Kenyans who have every right to live in Kikuyu and in Kiambu. Honorable Speaker, I was telling somebody yesterday, in another 20 years or 10 years from today, I may not be a member of parliament for Kikuyu. I do not know who will be the member of parliament for Kikuyu. But any child who has grown up in Kikuyu and knows Kikuyu irrespective of where they come from, can be elected as a member of parliament in Kikuyu. I will not be surprised, Honorable Speaker, if at one time the governor position in Kiambu goes to somebody who does not originally hail from Kiambu. That is the beauty for democracy, and that is the kind of country we want to build. Today we have elected a president who many believed that there are communities that would never vote for a president from the Rift Valley. But we elected a president on the basis of what he espoused, what he stood for, not on the basis of where he came from. That is why, Honorable Speaker, elsewhere we have taken time, painfully, to stand for what is right, not what is politically expedient and what you think is politically popular in your village, but what is right and good for Kenya. I said yesterday, Honorable Speaker, Kenya is now playing at a global stage. We are globalizing our country. We cannot afford to dwell on village matters now. We cannot villagize, if there is such a word as villagizing. If there is globalizing, please let us not villagize our country. We have a beautiful country. A beautiful country that we cannot afford to villagize. A beautiful country where our president has placed on a global stage. And it is that globalization that we should be focusing on, not villagizing a beautiful country like Kenya. And I want to plead with all of you as members of parliament. Please, as you are told by the president on Madaraka Day, you are bestowed with a very dignified position as members of the National Assembly of Kenya. National Assembly, that's why you're called MNAs, members of the National Assembly. Not members of some village assemblies, not members of your county assemblies. You are members of the National Assemblies to espouse that what is of national good and the greater public good in the nation of Kenya. Honorable Speaker, with those many remarks, because I can see I'm short of time, let me just close by saying that there is a famous saying, which I could quote, that says you can't build a kingdom with someone who still wants the attention from the village. We will not build